Imagine a game that twists horror into an action-packed nightmare. Slitterhead doesn't just haunt your dreams, it grabs you by the throat and never lets go, but is it a terrifying masterpiece or a beautiful mess? Let's take a deep, unsettling dive into this wild ride. Oh, and if your lights are still on, trust me, you'll want to keep them that way, buckle up, because we're covering the heart-pounding story setup, jaw-dropping creature designs, and gameplay mechanics that are both thrilling and frustrating. We'll talk visuals, sound. And if Slitterhead is worth your hard-earned cash, stick around for the pros and cons and an exclusive game recommendation at the end. Slitterhead comes from Kiichiro Toyama, the mind behind Silent Hill. That's a heavy legacy to carry, and fans of psychological horror will expect shivers down their spines, but does this game redefine terror, or does it stumble in the shadow of greatness? No pressure, right? Just the weight of an entire genre's expectations. Before we get too deep, here's where you can experience the fear PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Yep, it's next-gen ready, meaning every terrifying detail is cranked up to 11. Prepare for scares in ultra high definition. The world of Slitterhead feels alive, or should I say haunted. Picture a city that's a twisted reflection of reality, filled with secrets and creatures lurking around every corner. It's a nightmare you can't wake up from, yet you're oddly curious to explore more, and trust me, curiosity is dangerous. Hear more on that later. You're dropped into a narrative brimming with supernatural intrigue and human horror. It's a survival story with layers of mystery. Characters feel real, and yet some connections feel shallow. Is this intentional, or does it rob the story of deeper emotional weight? Action and horror don't always blend well, but Slitterhead tries. You wield firearms, melee weapons, and eerie supernatural abilities. Combat feels thrilling at its best, but stumbles at times when things get intense. It's a pulse-racing dance between skill and panic, or as I call it, the please don't eat me shuffle. This game has it all: body horror, jump scares, and dread so thick you can almost taste it, yet the horror isn't relentless. Does the tension ebb and flow perfectly, or do certain sections lose their edge? We'll uncover that, but be prepared for genuine shivers. The monsters are nightmarish marvels, grotesque and beautifully twisted. Each encounter is a dance between terror and awe. But do these monsters evolve in meaningful ways, or do they become predictable after a few hours? Graphically, Slitterhead delivers from the damp, foggy streets to the grotesque designs of its creatures. The game pulls you in visually. The lighting is meticulously crafted, enhancing the feeling of unease and isolation if you thought you could handle fear. Slitterhead dares you to play with headphones. The creaking floors, the whispers, the sudden loud bursts, they're all strategically designed to scare you senseless, but does it go overboard at times? Seriously, your neighbors might think you're being haunted. The pacing can make or break a horror game here. Slitterhead paces its moments of terror and relief like a symphony, but not always perfectly. When it hits right, you're on the edge of your seat when it drags. Well, even monsters need coffee breaks. Combat is a double-edged sword, pun intended. Sometimes it feels intuitive and thrilling, but other times it's like fighting a ghost with a rubber chicken. Does the difficulty enhance the horror or just frustrate the player? Let's get into that. Once you face the terrors of Slitterhead, will you return for more? There are branching paths and secrets to uncover, adding replay value, but is that enough to lure you back into this twisted world, or will you be content to survive just once? Slitterhead isn't just about fear, it's an emotional journey from moments of relief and triumph to genuine despair. The game manipulates your feelings skillfully, but does it leave a lasting impact, or are the scares more fleeting? The dialogue is atmospheric, setting the tone perfectly. Characters often speak in hushed, fearful voices, but does the writing elevate the narrative or merely serve as filler between scares? Some conversations leave a mark, while others feel expendable. Is Slitterhead the spiritual successor to Silent Hill, or does it carve its own path? Fans of psychological horror will notice similarities, but this game aims to be a genre-defining experience. Does it succeed, or is it trying too hard to be something it's not? Balancing horror with high-octane action is tricky here. Slitterhead gets it right mostly when you're in the thick of it, dodging attacks and fighting back. The adrenaline rush is real, but do these moments interrupt the fear or complement it? Nothing says horror quite like missing your last shotgun blast. Let's get real. Slitterhead has its highs and lows. Some aspects are groundbreaking, while others falter under scrutiny. Are the scares worth the occasional clunky mechanics, or does it all add up to a truly terrifying mess? Pros: jaw-dropping creature design, immersive sound, and an unpredictable world that keeps you guessing. Cons: some gameplay frustrations, pacing hiccups, and occasional narrative shallowness. So, is it worth your time? If you crave horror and adrenaline, Slitterhead will keep you up at night, literally. And before you go, check out our deep dive into Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for action on a whole other level. Click that end screen now.